Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron. I hope you're having a great day or night in Jesus. We're in the book of Genesis. We started in Genesis 1:1. We're now in Genesis 49, verse 8. This is our 101st lesson in our journey through the book of Genesis, verse by verse. Please check out our other videos on this and other verse-by-verse journeys, my very favorite type of Bible teaching. So let's get started, and we're at the place where Jacob is at the end of his earthly life, and he is blessing his children. He dies right after this. And so we're in verse 8, we're at the fourth child that he had, Judah, which means praise. Of course, this is also the lineage of Messiah, and he's kind of prophesying that. It says, verse 1, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. So let's see what he has to say about Judah. Do check out our verse-by-verse journeys, Romans, the complete book, Proverbs, getting complete, and Matthew, getting complete. So verse 8 of Genesis 49, the very first book in the Bible, Judah, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Now, the kingly line is going to come through Judah, David, but also the messianic line. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. Not on, in. I mean, this is total devastation. Just like the ancient practice we see in Joshua of them laying their heads down and the foot being put on the necks. So, thy father's children shall bow down before thee. So highly messianic in character. It's going more than just this is where the kingship line is going to come from. This is where Messiah is coming from. And then Judah is a lion's whelp. Remember, Jesus is the lion of the tribe of Judah. So we're more messianic prophecies. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up, my son. So he's talking to Judah. From the prey, victory. He stooped down, he couched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall raise him up? And so, whose goings forth, Jesus, from old, from everlasting. So again, this is messianic in character. It could be about, again, the length of days of Messiah, the length of time of the reign of the kings of Judah. And Old Lions Laid Back. What a great book by O.C. Marler. If you don't have that, you really need it. One of the greatest books ever written. The scepter shall not depart from Judah. Scepter, kingship, royalty, nor a lawgiver from between his feet. It means it's lineage, from his seed, from between his feet, until Shiloh come. Shiloh, where the Ark of the Covenant was, where the temple was, and the archaeology of Shiloh, called Shiloh now. You can watch it all over YouTube. Scott Stripling, I think, and many others. Expedition Bible, absolutely amazing. And unto him shall the gathering of the people be. Shiloh, Jesus, God tabernacled in the flesh. So, that's John 1:14. So the gathering of the people, this is resurrection. This is everybody's going to come to Jesus. And so verse 11, binding his foal unto the vine, F-O-A-L, like a donkey, and his ass's colt unto the choice vine. Maybe some prophetic look at the going to the Last Supper, the triumphal entry more specifically, with the two donkeys there. He washed his garments in wine. Okay, that's red, blood, and his clothes in the blood of grapes. His eyes shall be red with wine, and his teeth white with milk. And so he's going to come in vengeance, wrath, but he's going to be perfect. His teeth white with milk. Desire the sincere milk of the word. So very messianic in lot there with Judah, that this is where kingship's going to come from. Davidic kingship, and also Messiah and Messiah's ultimate victory. Remember, this is that which shall befall you in the last days. And then we come to Zebulon. Zebulon, Georgia is the pimento capital of the world. It's a wonderful place. But this is the tribe of Zebulun, the fifth child of Jacob. Zebulun shall dwell at the haven of the sea. So it's going to be a close dweller. Remember when they divided up the 12 tribes, and he shall be for an haven of ships. So he's going to have a port. And his border shall be unto Zidon, and this would be the southernmost part of Lebanon, Tyre and Zidon. Now we come to Issachar. Notice didn't write nearly as much about Zebulun as Judah. And you can go to lesson 100 to see the first few of the prophecies Jacob was pronouncing. Issachar is as a strong ass couching down between two burdens. So Issachar is going to be strong. And he saw that rest was good. You know, he had two burdens, but he saw rest was good. And the land that it was pleasant. And that's one of the things you'll notice throughout the Old Testament. Israel is known as the pleasant land. And bowed his shoulder to bear, and became a servant unto tribute. So it's like he did not conquer his lineage, his tribe, his place, the borders where he was supposed to be. He just saw it was a pleasant land and decided, he said, you know what, it's so good here. You know, the smiles of heaven are constantly upon it. It's a place of milk and honey, that I'm just going to be a servant. And he was supposed to conquer. He wasn't supposed to do that. A servant unto tribute. He was having to pay money. So then 16, Dan is considered, Dan and Simeon are usually the two tribes most associated with Antichrist. So Dan shall judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. So Dan is going to be a ruler as well. Samson was a judge from Dan. You had Dan. This is one of the places where false idols was set up. So he's going to judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Dan shall be a serpent by the way, an adder in the path, that biteth the horse's heels. People are trying to ride, and Dan is an adder to destroy, getting people off the horses that they're on, so that his rider shall fall backward, like into sin. And Dan, look at the book of Judges, just almost euphemistically for sin. Wasn't the guy that blasphemed in the Pentateuch, was he from Dan? I can't remember. And then it says, I have waited for thy salvation, O Lord. Thy salvation, kind of in Hebrew, that salvation is etymologically related, usually in most Hebraic references, to Jesus. Jesus just means Jehovah, my salvation. So a lot of times the word salvation, like in Isaiah 12, is just the Hebrew way of saying Jesus, basically. But notice in the last days, I've waited for thy salvation, O Lord, that Danite, the Antichrist, is going to get people to quit progressing, off the horse. They're going to go backwards. So Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. So this was what's going to happen to Gad in the last days. Troops going to overcome him, but he's eventually going to overcome. There's a lot of life lessons there. Verse 20, out of Asher, his bread shall be fat, and he shall yield royal dainty. So Asher is going to be, isn't it Asher has the iron shoes later? But out of Asher, his bread shall be fat. So it's going to be a prosperous land, and shall yield royal dainties. So we're going to stop there before we get to Naphtali. But God bless you. I love verse-by-verse Bible study. I hope you do as well. It really helps us get the entire word. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. The man of God may be truly furnished unto all good works. Talk with you later. God bless. Bye-bye.